It's the saddest thing to come down here in the middle of winter and see Ali working with drips coming off her nose. It's a kind of torture, but it's necessary because through that pain comes this beauty, right?
I was that kid who always was in the art room in the lunchtime at school.
You're a sculptor?
I'm a sculptor. I've always made bronze, I guess. I do love that material, and unlike Sam, I've just stuck with bronze.
This is one of these paintings that I'll never sell. I was on a lake in Switzerland with a friend. We saw some fish gliding through the water. I said, I wish I had my crossbow. And she said, why would you want to kill a fish? And dived out. And as she slipped under the water, I thought, there's a beautiful painting. And I painted it when I came home. Like it does feel.
You can make it.
No, there's got to be a moment here when... I bought the mill maybe about 40 years ago, I suppose. It had been empty for 7 years. It was full of pigeons and rats, and everything was smashed inside. And there were no trees here, no vine, nothing lovely about it at all, which is why nobody wanted it.
I used to come down here to see Sam. We were living up the road, and Sam would hand me a block of limestone, or he taught me how to make stained glass, all sorts of bits and pieces in the weekends. I just thought it was a wonderful life here. It was kind of magical.
And you never left?
I never left. I came here when I was 18. Yeah.
Really?
I did.
Well, this is when Alison first came to the mill, and you can tell by her expression that she's finding it tough. Cold, cold winters and hard, hard work. She's looking pretty worn.
Time passes though, doesn't it?
You have to understand here that we live in an old, broken down building that nobody wanted. So this came easily and without any debt. We don't have a bank on our back. That frees us up incredibly. And we make stuff. If we need a machine, we make it.
We're just going to start up the furnace now to cast these little pieces of bronze. We'll melt the bronze in here.
Okay.
So I've just got all these little bits of bronze that we've cut. There's 2 vacuum cleaners down here, and they blow air through this tube. It's a very simple setup. It's a privilege to be able to work full-time as an artist, but galleries take 40% of everything that sells, so in some ways you're making half your work for nothing, and so you're working hard. Oh, it's pretty hot. I enjoy sort of the technical sides of casting bronze as well as the actual sculpting and the ideas that initially go into it. It's fun to push the edges a little bit and see how tiny you can get things and fiddly, and it's fun in that way. So I've just cleaned that up a bit, and you can now see the form in here. This is just a little figure, and she's going to have a book in her hand. Often these little pieces, they're my sketches. I sit down with a little bit of wax, and the pieces I like best I'll make into bigger pieces.
Okay, Jared, I'll tell you the story, okay? Pay close attention. There are people here struggling, and on the backs of each of these people there was a bank. There was an ANZ or BNZ or whatever. You put a coin in here. We don't have any coins, so we're going to press this button, and everything starts to move. In the middle, Ronald McDonald. This guy here is endlessly grinding and grinding. I don't know what he's grinding. The woman over here is about to do something, and she's doing it while she's carrying her child on her back. And this man here is helping to support this plinth on which this 1%er is sitting, and he may look like Jerry Brownlee, but he's not Jerry Brownlee. Purely it was for entertainment. It drags people in. They look at it, they like the moving pictures, and then they get the idea. It's like the George Carlin idea. If you want to cut somebody's throat, you put a razor blade in a muffin, right? This is the muffin, and then you think about it. Well, this, of course, is Bibi, the president or premier of Israel. I don't like him very much, so I carved his face, and then I painted it with my own blood. So the blood has changed colour now, but that was the idea. It's also, the sculpture itself is made from crushed pig bone. Now, Greta Thunberg is, of course, the inspiration for everybody.
Your art's obviously political, eh?
Well, I think all art should be political. Every good sculpture should have context, form and story.
Can't some just be there for the beauty of the world?
Well, that's called wallpaper. You know? We've got to talk about this stuff, and art has a voice, and the minute that voice is taken from us by some corporate who says we should only have decoration in those stories, we're in trouble.
We've seen right in the background. Is he political?
He's very political. He used to be the Minister for the Environment, or against the environment.
And at the time you were pretty involved with water, weren't you?
Yeah, we're involved in water, and we put a lot of energy in to try to run candidates to our local environment council, and then Nick came along, didn't like the fact we had some environmental candidates in our council for the first time, sacked the council saying that we want to carry on with Darien and Canterbury, so we're going to sack a local democracy. And we thought, right, how can I fight that? I did a portrait of him taking a shit in a glass of water.
He definitely doesn't shy away from confrontation. He's working, like many others before him, for a better world, and that involves necessarily confrontation, I think.
I once said to Nick, look, these sculptures I do of you, it's just politics. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. And he said to me, Sam, there's absolutely nothing you could do that could hurt my feelings. And that's when I made this one. When I made this sculpture, the first place we were going to take it was onto the front lawn outside of Ecan.
Environment Canterbury.
Environment Canterbury, yeah.
What's it like being the daughter of two artists?
It's pretty fun a lot of the time, but it can be hard sometimes when they're in the middle of getting ready for an exhibition or something. But I think it's a pretty good life, honestly. I've got lots of space, so much room to move and have fun and explore. And I've got my 2 horses, and Sam and I are fixing up a little MG midget, is it? Yeah, that he had about 20 years ago, I think.
Oh, it's dead. Everything we've done here, all this is built on art and the art practice. But it's easy because we just pared our lives back. We don't have crap that we have to go into debt to acquire. And that's the incredible freedom with which art is able to flourish. What I'm afraid of is that in the world now, there's so many constraints, especially on young emerging artists. Where are they going to find the time, the space to create their work?
It's a pretty spare life then, isn't it, in terms of...
But it's spare, but it's rich. So this is the one here that gives me the shits every time I walk past it. I think, who the fuck is this?
Who is it?
Well, it's me. And I had it on display once up on an open space. And there's a poem he's reading, and the last line is complaining about the world and the state it's in. The last line says, "Don't just sit there, you complicit bastard, get up and do something," right? So that's me.